Welcome, my dear students. We will be looking at environmental, social, and governance factors now in this segment. ESG. ESG is actually something that has gained a lot of prominence around the world for the past couple of years, actually, since 2018 or so. And what we denote by ESG is this inherent idea that companies shouldn't be paying attention purely to profits. You know that previously, back in the early age of modern business, it was purely, everything was purely driven by profit maximization was the goal. Shareholder was the shareholder was the primary stakeholder. But now the idea that is getting kind of pushed forth, and the idea that is being mainstreamed, is the concept of ESG. And through concept of ESG, sustainable businesses. And that means you're not only concerned about shareholders, but you're also concerned about all the stakeholders, as many as you can. You have a wider um, requirement or wider accountability. And that is what ESG looks at. So in this segment, what we will be looking at is understanding the key concepts, key factors that are important within the whole subject of being environmentally conscious and socially conscious, and looking at governance and things like that. Okay. So first things first, one of the first things you have to understand is that nowadays businesses are trying, or if not, they are already, they're trying to be more sustainable. And by sustainable, it means that you're looking not only at short-term profits, but you're looking at long-term existence. So you'd rather make little profits, but for a longer time period, and exist for 100, 200, 300 years, instead of making billions and large amounts of profit, but crashing the business and going bankrupt in 5 years. And you do know, when you look at the past, that there have been many companies who faced that fate. So that's the idea of sustainability. You want to be sustainable. You want to do things in a way that your business sustains for a longer period of time. And it is quite challenging, and yet there's a massive opportunity there. Taking a look at ESG in particular. ESG is the broad acronym used for environmental, social, and governance in many of the business management books. And what it really means is that you have to look at your company, and if you want to make your company sustainable, then you have to ensure that your company is paying attention to these three aspects: environmental, social, and governance. And a few example points under each of them is that environmental, climate change, raw material and water or non-renewable resource scarcity, pollution, waste innovation, clean technology, renewable energy, etc. All of them relate to environmental factors. Social, employment policies, health and safety, treatment of customers, impact on communities, example, etc. Indigenous communities, here in Canada, it's a big deal. Lately, the government has issued apologies. Everywhere you see something called a land rights recognition, right? Where all people are, before ceremonies and everything, there's this statement that is being read out that we accept that we live in indigenous native land of First Nation, Inuit, and Métis. So that sort of thing. It's the acknowledgement, the land acknowledgement, saying that we know and we are sorry that we came and invaded you, and we know that we are living in your land. That sort of thing. So there's more consciousness, and every company is doing it here. Governance is really leadership. It's the right kind of leadership, corporate governance. What falls under governance is board diversity and structure, executive pay, audits, internal controls, fair tax, shareholder rights, bribery, corruption, evading, not evading necessarily, but avoiding those things, etc. Right? Good leadership. So as you can see, profit, finance, corporate finance, profitability, cost management, those are the classical factors of business. And if you purely run your business based on those, you will face challenges as you go along, because you're not looking at the collateral damage you're causing in pursuit of that. But if you can actually, while also focusing on profit, you can also focus on environmental, social, and governance factors, then you've got a quite healthy mix of things, because you're concerned about everyone, you're concerned about everything, and that makes you a better company. At least that is what ESG proposes. One part of ESG, and when you want to understand, especially under corporate governance, is business ethics. Ethics is a set of moral principles that examines the concept of right and wrong. Relates to behavior expected by society but not codified in law. So you know that ethics is not mandatory. And if you look at the SCCA ethical code, mainly it's five, right? Integrity, objectivity, professional competence, and due care, confidentiality, and professional behavior. But it's really around those concepts. It's a much broader thing. It's trying to do the right thing, right? And the right thing is something that genuinely your heart knows. Your heart knows. We are geared and we are designed human beings. We are designed in a way that we have this inherent intuition about what is right and what is wrong. So doing the moral thing, doing the morally right thing, is what ethics or being ethical means. Now, in the concept of, or in the forum of business, you do apply it and you say this is business ethics. There is ethics in business. So doing business right, in the right way, without oppressing anyone else, being just, and being righteous in your business, that is and not purely being driven by the profit alone, but having a balanced understanding that you're accountable to many other stakeholders. All of that is morality and business ethics. That's a key component of an organization's ESG strategy. Okay, the next element is governance. Now, under governance, another important aspect is corporate governance. And you know that the corporate governance code of the UK exists. There are continuous revisions that are being made to the corporate governance code. It is this set of principles. It's principle based. It's a set of principles that are not mandated. It's not compulsory to adopt and follow corporate governance. And it's, if you don't follow corporate governance, doesn't mean you're breaking the law. It's a recommended set of principles that are considered to be very positive and very healthy for a business and for how it should be led and managed. That's corporate governance. So here, official definition: corporate governance is the set of processes and policies by which a company is directed, administered, and controlled. It includes the appropriate role of the board of directors and the auditors of the company. So it's assigning the right place to the right person. It is just making sure what kind of principles can you inculcate within your business, so that you are always morally and ethically right, and you are accountable to the wider stakeholders who are trusting you. Okay. So just take a look at the new additions to the UK corporate governance code as well, when you can. Okay. Now that brings us to another very important aspect: sustainability. And I did briefly touch about sustainability. I told you that this chapter, the bulk of this chapter, or the point of this chapter, is that businesses are trying to be sustainable. And by trying to be sustainable, they're trying to exist for the long term. So if you look at sustainability, you can try to identify or understand sustainability in two ways. One is that sustainability is the development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. So it's the development that meets the needs of the present without really compromising the future generations' requirements. Now, what we see today, especially in the industrial revolution, back in 1960s, the factory era, etc., we are reaping what they sow, right? We know that they didn't do business, and they didn't, back in the day, they were so profit driven that everything they did was about short term monetary gain. And look at what it has done to the planet today. Glaciers are melting, climate change, all of that. So sustainability is not doing business that way, but to make sure that you do business in a way that you're not only benefiting in the present, but the future generations will also be able to benefit. The second kind of definition, or the way we understand, or we can understand sustainability, is that it is a need for organizations to focus on economic prosperity, environmental quality, and social justice. economic prosperity, environmental quality, and social justice. So this is just an alternate definition. Taking a brief look at it, you do have this table here, and you can go through it. It's really saying that what sustainability means is that you run your business in a way that you are sensitive to the environment around you, that you're conscious of the social dynamics that are around you, and you don't hurt anyone, or you don't make things difficult for the people in the society. And yet, having done those, making sure that you're also financially sound, that you are a business end of the day, and that you have to make profits, and that you do that job as well within the moral and ethical limits that it should be done. And this is the gist of the concept of sustainability, ESE. Sometimes this is also referred to as the 3Ps, which is planet, people, and profit. The 3Ps. So if you hear the word 3Ps anywhere in the context of sustainability, just remember it's planet, people, and profit. That's how you remember it. One last point about ESG is the triple bottom line. So this is essentially something of a more reporting mechanism, where you, or rather accounting also. The triple bottom line accounting means expanding the traditional company reporting framework to take into account environmental and social performance. So you don't necessarily purely focus on the reporting of financial performance, but you also try to report environmental metrics and social metrics that are relevant to your company. That's the way you need to understand or establish a fundamental meaning to ESG. Why ESG? What's the point of ESG? What kind of factors do you look at within an ESG framework? That's what we've looked at. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in a different video.